There's a great story in Vanity Fair. I mean, I didn't want to get into this, speaking of Bannon, but there's a great story in Vanity Fair that Bannon is specifically dropping stuff on Friday afternoons to squeeze Jared Kushner out because he's busy with Shabbat.
Aha. Enjoy Jew time, Kushner.
So insane. So insane.
By the way, maybe you treat your father-in-law with a little more respect and let him feel up his daughter once in a while, you ungrateful ingrate.
So with this, the role of Steve Bannon is becoming clear. Now, you know, we were talking about this prior to the inauguration in the lead up, and there were stories about how Bannon has made peace with Paul Ryan and this and that, but it is quite clear that up until this point, and people were like, you know, how could, I mean, before the election, like, Jared Kushner's there. How could Bannon be an anti-Semite? Like, as if an anti-Semite can't function in the world where Jews exist. Like,
we have
know
done
the stories.
Many meetings with Jews.
Well, but the point is, we know the stories that that Bannon, you know, that have come out from his the sealed depositions in his divorce. We know the stories of him complaining about, you know, why there's so many Hanukkah books here at this private school. I'm going to send my kids to all this stuff. Bannon probably had to run into some Jews. I mean, he owned a part of Seinfeld, and so of the show.
What's the deal with Steve Bannon?
But it is becoming clear that he is at least one of the major, if not the major, power source in the administration, and that Jeff Sessions is more closely allied with Bannon than probably anyone else is allied with anyone else in that administration.
The Jew gave us the revelation, but he also gave us usury.
And also, need I remind you who would come down from the Chicagos and the New York cities to tell us how to treat our property. All right. Okay. But be that as it may, here is, this is pretty wonderful, both in terms of slamming Bannon, but people, you know, here's the thing. It's like, it is not outlandish to imagine, if you're on Twitter, that you can impact the behavior of the President of the United States. It is not outlandish to imagine. In fact, it's almost irrational to imagine that if you go on CNN, it's impossible for you to impact the president. And here is a clip of which number is this? Oh, okay, yeah. This is New York Times contributor Wajahat Ali, Wajahat, on Don Lemon's program. And he is basically trying to get under Donald Trump's skin. Maybe Donald Trump will see it, maybe he won't. But I think this is pretty good practice. And no one seems to take issue with it, which I also particularly enjoy because I've tried to do stuff like this over the years, and you get some blowback.
What do you make of what's going on and all of the developments that have happened since this weekend?
Well, President Bannon, President Trump's Muslim ban, is that a Muslim ban? And the reason we know that is Rudy Giuliani, probably because he's getting really old, blurted his mouth and said that President Trump, Bannon's Poodle came to him and said, I want to do the Muslim ban, find me the legal way to do it. President Trump, throughout his entire campaign, said the following, that he would do a temporary or permanent ban of Muslims. That he said openly, Islam hates us. Not radical Islam, Don. Islam hates us. He said he's open to a Muslim registry. He said he wants to do an extreme vetting of Muslims. So yes, call this what it is. It's a Muslim ban. Anyone who says anything else, it's an alternative fact, which is doublespeak for a lie. I'm an American Muslim born and raised in this country, and my wife, Sarah, is from Okeechobee, Florida, right? She was born there in Okeechobee, Florida, and literally there were no other minorities, and so for about 20 years people thought she was Latino, even though she's South Asian. She told me 3 days ago, for the first time, and this is a very sobering point, she says, for the first time in my life, I'm worried about the safety of our 2 American Muslim kids in this country. It broke my heart. I have these 2 babies, Ibrahim, 2.5 years old, a wild Sufi, rambunctious and crazy, and my warrior princess Nusayba, who's 6 months old. Both of them are adorable and cute and look just like Sarah. Thank God they don't look like me. And it broke my heart. But at the same time, there's a saying of the Prophet Muhammad, and it's a beautiful saying. It says, even if the day of judgment is around the corner, plant a seed. And it may look like one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse is President Trump, but plant a seed. My faith commands me to be hopeful, not to give into despondency, cynicism, and hate. And you know what I'm going to tell my kids, Don, and this is important. I told my son right before I left, I don't think he understood me, he's 2.5, I said, you're going to resist. This America belongs to you, and I want you to succeed, and I want you to thrive. There are going to be haters who are going to try to bring you down, but you're going to outwork them, outsmart them, outdebate them, outthink them, outtweet them. You're going to out-hustle them, you're going to outdream them, out-hope them, and inshallah, you will forgive them. The beautiful thing about President Bannon is the following. He has awakened a multicultural coalition of the willing. Slumbering giants, kings, and queens have woken up and taken to the streets. Men of different colors, ethnicities, national origins, religions are out there saying, "Oh, we want to defend America, and we're coming for the crown, Steve Bannon, and we're going to take it, and we're going to win."
And I've got to get to the break. Thank you very much.
There you go. I mean, that's this is the type of stuff that people should be doing in every environment they can.
Guess what, Steve? I think I want to double migration from Muslim countries. How about that? And you know what else? While you're at it, I just saw a meme from young Pope where the Pope gets his feet kissed. And I think we ought to do that. That might bring some grandeur back to the White House, starting with you.
Steve, maybe, I don't know if maybe you should be taking a car. I just think that maybe a taxi would be better.
You know,
Just-
Steve-
I feel like we should save money. Don't you think?
Don't you think wouldn't that be good for the people, Steve? And you know, Steve, I'm just spitballing, but when we had the meeting with all of those great tech guys to do a great job, you know what I thought to myself? Not enough Indian guys running those companies. Sad. I mean, they're good at computers, right? And the Chinese, I mean, they're great at cyber. Shouldn't they be running more of those companies, Steve?
I think we're all going to celebrate Shabbat from now on.
Hey,
I think
Steve.
everybody's going to celebrate Shabbat. So we're just not going to do anything on Shabbat. That's the way Shabbat is going to be the end. We're going to no Shabbat every day. At 4
Nothing.
o'clock, we roll this thing
4
up every
o'clock,
Friday.
Everything is rolled up. So all of those plans at stripping away birthright citizenship, Steve, they're not happening on Friday anymore because we're going to be at Jared's house celebrating Shabbat. How about that, Steve?
Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Subscribe.